So in today's video, I want to hit something home, and I hope this lands for you in a way that it never has, even if you've heard it before. Take a deep breath in. And just get yourself ready and open to receive. Wherever you are, if you're in a car, if you're at the gym, anywhere that you're tuning into this, know that it's meant for you and receive it in a way that you never have before. Our entire lives have been built on the premise that the outer world is the cause, right? We're used to taking energy from the outside, circumstances, material things from the outside, bringing it in, and then having that dictate what our reality is. We were never taught, oh, hey, guess what? You're the cause of your reality. What's happening in you is being mirrored by the outside. And if you don't believe me, really test this for yourself. Like, really play with the idea of, okay, for a month, I'm going to intentionally feel an energy inside of me and just see what happens in the outside world when I do something different. And what I mean by this, like, okay, there's a reason that guys like Dr. Joe Dispenza are as big as they are and doing sold out workshops all over the world, teaching people this exact thing, that they are the cause, that you don't wait for the promotion to feel abundant or to give yourself a reason to celebrate. You don't wait for the money to be prosperous. You don't wait for your bank account to look a certain way to have a level of internal security. You don't wait for the perfect relationship to come just magically knocking on your door. You create that beautiful, perfect relationship within yourself. You do these things inside of here first. You create it in your own garden of consciousness. You plant those seeds before the outer reveals it. And that is such a different experience of being human, right? When you know that you're the cause and you keep seeing these things repeating over and over again, trying to get you to notice, and what'll happen? We'll fall back to our normal patterns of victimhood. It's not fair. How could this happen to me? Like, you know what I'm talking about. You'll pull out all the stops. Poor me. It's because of my childhood. It's because of this, or this. My boss is a dick. A million different things, which clouds you from the sun that's always there trying to come through. That's like, hey, you're the creator of this. You are in a co-creative dance with this reality. It is moldable and shapeable, and it works with you. I like to see it as reality reflecting back. I love you, and I give you what you pay attention to. This video is on YouTube right now. Think about how good the algorithm is. The YouTube algorithm is phenomenal, right? Because if you are paying attention to certain types of videos, it's gonna queue up other videos very similar. It starts to know what you like, right? And it's masterful sometimes, where I have to take a step back and I'm like, all right, that can get easy to consume way too much of your day because the videos are so on point. Technology mimics life, right? So this outside world is an algorithm. It's governed by laws. It's governed by order. And if we play within those laws, if we live in that order, then our lives have order. But the control systems, those who want to stay in power, that's the last thing they want us to know, that we are the cause of our experience, right? So let's say you don't feel free in the circumstance that you're in. Whatever that might look like, a job, a relationship, an area that you live in, you feel stuck there. How often do you take even just 5 minutes of your day and tune into the truth, which is, I am free right now. I am free right now. I am not bound by physical time and space. In my mind, I am always free. And the more you can anchor yourself back to that truth, the outer world will start to reflect that freedom. We know we can do this, right? Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, he did this while he was in arguably one of the worst environments you can imagine, in a concentration camp with people getting murdered every day all around him, and he stayed free in his mind. Nelson Mandela did the same thing when he was in prison for a long time, right? So this is part of our responsibility, our spiritual intelligence, to begin being the creators of our experience, to take agency and responsibility over that, which I think a lot of people don't want to do because it seems like such a big task, which it does to the ego, to the small self. That creation task seems huge, and who am I to do that? I can't do that. That's too, wow, that would be way too much. But the real you, the you that I'm speaking to right now, there's no higher form of joy than to bring that into your life, to wake up in the morning and say, wow, blank canvas, what's my art gonna look like today, right? This is a whole different paradigm that we're shifting into, and this is happening on our planet. There's a lot of people doing this already, and the more that you say, yep, I'm gonna be part of that, we're feeding that energy into the collective, and it's gonna take away more and more resistance that people have to doing this because the conditioning is so deep, and this has a lot of our ancestral baggage weighing it down too, because, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, the ones before them, they had to slog through a lot of shit. They couldn't really do the things that they wanted to do. We're living in a golden age, really. The only thing is we're probably more in a psychological prison than any other time before because of the intentioned manipulation and psychological and spiritual warfare that's happening right now. But this is where you start to get some freedom. This is where you take full ownership of your life, where you can no longer blame. You can no longer say this isn't fair. You can no longer give your power away to anything that's on the outside. And if you've been living as the small self the whole time, again, this seems daunting. This seems like, whoa. And it makes you want to run the other way. But what if you take a breath and you invite this in and you say, wow, this is actually why I'm here on the planet. I came here to experience this. I came here to know what it's like to be a conscious creator of my experience and to feel that power, to feel that infinite creative life force flowing through me where anything is possible, right? Because you're expanding beyond this limited, tiny scope of perception that you're used to and expanding it into something so much greater. I believe that the universe, God, source, there's no greater joy for that which created us to see us do this. And again, I believe this is why we're here. And this is what creates fulfillment. This is what creates a sense of aliveness and purposeness, which if you don't have that, of course you're going to have depression because you're not expressing your natural self. You're playing this game down here, which is not the game we're here to play. That game sucks. It's the slow, third density, slogging through time and space, thinking that you're little me and has no power. We did that long enough. What if we all started to do this even just a little bit, right? Let's say with abundance, because lack and scarcity and poverty consciousness are one of the most insidious parasites that we have on planet Earth. It drains people's life force. It pits people against each other. It makes people do shit they would never do and hurt others for money. So let's at least play with that one. And instead of waiting for something on the outside, some opportunity to just fall in your lap, start creating it today. Sit down for 5 minutes, put on some music that makes you feel good. I have a whole playlist for that. Puts you into that state, and then start to imagine who you are as if the abundance is already there, the prosperity is already there, the job you want is already there, you living the lifestyle that you have always wanted. Create that internally first. And this is a muscle. You will train this. You'll get better at it. Again, this is what Joe Dispenza does with his workshops and his retreats. And this is what so many of the greatest teachers of humanity have been trying to tell us. This is why we're here. We came here to learn this because, wow, what a joy. that is to go from victimhood, poverty consciousness, little me, to breaking out of that prison and expanding into the fullness of who you really are, starting to have this beautiful relationship with who you really are and with the life around you, instead of fighting against it and thinking it's out to get you and fighting against yourself, ping-ponging back and forth between dualities, pleasure and pain. This is a spiritual intelligence thing. Let's evolve together out of that, so that, again, we can feed this into the collective and more people are going to start doing this. This is a big deal. And I would advise that when you're starting off on this, get some support. I work with clients on this all the time, and there's no greater joy for me as a human, and what I believe is a huge part of why I'm here, to help people do this, because I slogged through so much shit for so long, and I finally freed myself of these things, and I started to get over the resistance of taking full ownership of my life and becoming that co-creator and dancing with life and seeing the numbers on the clock, seeing the license plates with the synchronistic messages, seeing the opportunities come in, creating the life that I wanted that was outside of the 9-to-5 that I never thought I could have. That took me years to break that curse, that conditioning. Right? How amazing is this? You can align yourself with people right now that have done this and can help you accelerate through that process. Give yourself what you need. Start going to the spiritual gym. And go to the regular gym, because those two together are really great. I actually, while I'm at the regular gym, like to do this process because I'm really in my body and I can make it feel more alive when I'm doing that movement, when I'm going for a walk, when I'm doing something physical, when I'm dancing. And it's just as powerful to sit down and intentionally go into meditation and create this for yourself. I do that every night and in each morning, and then I write it down. This is the work, guys. And you know, for those who are still listening, you know you're meant for this. You know that this is the time in your life where you get to say yes to this. 2024, we have an opportunity to pick up the pen and start writing our story that we chose, not our childhood coping mechanisms, not the I'm not okay consciousness, fighting against life and resisting things, embracing it, realizing that you're part of it. You're now participating in it. When I was in school, I didn't participate. I could say a lot of different things about that, but my participation grades weren't great. And if I was being honest with myself a few years ago, my participation grades from the teacher of life, I'd be failing that too. I would have like a 1 out of 10. And now my participation is off the charts, because it's so much more fun to get out of bed and realize that you are in a reality that loves you and supports you and desires to give you that which you focus on, what you desire. The problem is we're trained to flow our insanely powerful imagination to all the shit we don't want. That's what we got to break. That's where we're going to lift ourselves out of the prison and take our power back. Okay? You're not the patterns that you adopted from childhood, where it's all about don't feel shame, don't get yelled at, don't get hurt, right? All the protective stuff. We're shedding that snake skin and actually knowing ourselves and being like, oh shit, none of that was me. And now, from a place of sovereignty, I get to choose how I see myself, how I see the world, and I get to play this game in an entirely new way. So I hope this resonates, and this is the first video I've made on YouTube in a while. So I hope that this one lands for you, and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep these things rolling. We're gonna keep reminding ourselves this. I'm gonna keep putting videos out around these type of topics. So I hope to see you again and appreciate you tuning in. And until next time.